This is the first one. I love this picture and it conveys so many things. So I just chose this as the cover design for this slideshow. Ishvara, the supreme lover. Ishvara means controller. That's how we associate the word with. And Krishna is the supreme controller. And he is also the in charge of our emotions of love. And therefore, he is the fountainhead of all the emotions, of all the rasas. And the way he loves us without even waiting for reciprocation from our side. So this was the feeling that I wanted to convey in this particular slideshow or in this particular session. So here, love is founded on sambandha. And now we see how we have the 5 type of rasas, 5 type of sambandhas in which we can associate with the Lord. But even before we are able to realize that sambandha, Krishna has never forgotten his eternal sambandha. We have forgotten. We are in state of forgetfulness. But then his love is totally unconditional. He doesn't care whether we have forgotten, whether we remember it or not, but he just continues to share it on us. And at the same time, he keeps on, giving reminders in different ways to us. See, you are connected to me. I'm connected to you. And this is how the tale of love begins with him. And here I've just cited a few shlokas to support it. Pitaham asya jagato mata dhata pitamaha. This is from Bhagavad Gita 9.17. I'm the mother, the father, the maintainer, and the grandsire of the universe. Sarva yoneshu kaunteya murtayah sambhavantiyah tasam brahma mahad yonir aham bij pradah pitah. So I'm the seed giving father. O Kaunteya, the Mahat Brahma, great material nature, is the mother from whose womb all species of life are born. And I am the seed giving father. Many times, we are not able to come out of the species consciousness also. Body consciousness is there, and at the same time, species consciousness is also there. I'm a human being. But Krishna is father for all the jivas, for all the living entities that we can see around, whether they are jada, chetana, whether they are movable or immovable. But he continues to be the father of all the jivas. So slowly we are just taking on to the swing of love sambandha. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje. अहेतुकी अप्रतिहता ययात्मा सुप्रसिद्धति. Generally, we cite this shloka to understand what is bhakti, what is prema, what is love, and Krishna is demonstrating it very beautifully. When we develop that bhakti towards the Lord, it becomes parodharma. And what are the conditions for that? It is totally unmotivated, aheutiki, and then apratihata. It's continuous. It's not having any kind of conditions. And that kind of love we see coming from Krishna towards all the jivas. And here we can see the supreme lover, like Krishna is a supreme lover, and he has his gopi friends who are just excellent in reciprocating that love. The reason why I kept this picture was, since Krishna is sharing so much love on us, how can we reciprocate? What should be our mood? And since those gopis are the epitome of that kind of surrenderness and that kind of love, so I wanted to keep them, because that should be our goal. We should try to follow their footsteps, how we have to surrender. Whether they are together with him or they are in separation, they are always connected to him. And now coming back to the theme, how Krishna is sharing his causeless mercy and love on all the jivas, even when they have gone away from him. They have chosen to gone away from him. We are those errant jivas who have erred, not only erred, in fact, we have sinned. But still, his love continues. He provides for everybody. Like all the jivas, they depend on food for their survival. Annat bhavanti bhutani. Without food, we cannot be. We cannot sustain ourselves. And from where does that food also come? First, Krishna will provide for everybody's quota. Isha vasyam midam sarvam. So for everybody, he's providing. Then at the same time, he's also ensuring that there's something to grow. He gives the conducive atmosphere. Prithvi Devi is there. So Prithvi Devi creates. Then moon is there. Moonlight helps in the growth of the food. Sunlight helps. The rain comes. So all these elements together, they cannot work independently. They cannot work independent of Krishna. So first, Krishna has created the quota. Then he provides for the food in different ways, and then after the food has come in front of all the jivas, in front of everybody, he also ensures from from providing, and then from here, from mouth till evacuation. Like even when we put the food in our mouth, what role do we play in chewing it? As such, we have not created the teeth, we have not created the tongue, we have not created the digestive juices that are required. We just put it, and then the work starts. Like it's going further down, we are siloing it. When we are siloing, different types of vayus are there playing their role. They push it further down, and then we have Jataragni. It helps further in the digestion process, and then takes care of the evacuation process. Everything is taken care of. I've just taken the example of food because food is a basic necessity. Other things are also taken care of. And in Bhagavad Gita also we see this shloka, aham vaishvanaro bhutva praninam deham ashrita pranapana samayukta pachami annam chaturvidham. All four types of food for their digestion, it's Krishna's force which is behind it, which he declares very nicely. I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities, not only just we people, not only just human beings, but in all the living entities, be it the smallest of the bacteria to the greatest of the giant. Every living entity has a digestive system. It has some evacuatory system. Everything is taken care of. And I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the four kinds of foodstuff. And then, as we read in at the beginning of Brahma Samhita also, he is the supreme cause. He is the beginning, he is the middle, and he is the end. We have heard this statement so many times. We'll try to understand it, try to go a little deeper and try to understand it a little further. And here there's a quote also, aham adishacha madhyam cha bhutanam ant evacha. I am the adi, I am the madhya, I am the bhutana. So with this kind of thing behind us, we'll try to go a little deeper into this and see. Even when we read about creation in Srimad Bhagavatam, of course, it's given in very detail. Krishna is the supreme lover, but then he's, as we read in the second slide itself, that he's like our father. And if we try to recall the situation that we have in our family, we'll be able to understand it very nicely. Many times at home, the child gets little errant. He does not listen. He protests against the father. Now the father has love for the child, but at the same time, he doesn't want to show that he still, like, he wants to act little strict. So what does he do? He gives the responsibility of taking care of the child. Of course, it's through father only, but the mother is there. Okay, you take responsibility. Don't tell the child that I'm the one, worried about his welfare as such, but you take care of things and see that he realizes his mistake and comes back to me. And that's what Krishna also does. He has so much of love for us, which he is going on sharing right from beginning. But he delegates different responsibilities to different entities, right from creation to annihilation. So for creation also, he expands himself. We have different Vishnus taking care of that. Mahavishnu we have, then we have Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, and then we have Kshirodakshayi Vishnu. So first the creation takes place from Garbhodakshayi Vishnu's navel. That lotus flower comes, and in that lotus flower, Brahmaji is there. And then Brahmaji is given the necessary intelligence to do the creation. He has been provided with all the ingredients for creation. And those ingredients are also provided by Krishna only. Through Mahavishnu, we have it in Pradhana form. So he has all the ingredients ready for him. He does the creation. But creation will be meaningless if there is no life in that. So, how does that life also come? That life also comes when he expands himself further. He expands himself as super soul, as Shirodakshayi Vishnu. First, he goes inside every planet, and then he goes inside every living entity as Paramatma and takes care of them. He maintains them. For maintenance, he himself takes the charge. For annihilation, of course, we have Shivaji. He takes care. And maintenance requires mode of goodness. So he takes care of it himself as Vishnu. So right from beginning as we have in creation, then in maintenance and annihilation, we have Krishna everywhere. And then as Shirodakshayi Vishnu, he keeps the planets in orbits and in lives in every he lives in every living entity's heart as Paramatma. And as Paramatma also, he's taking care of each and everything. If somebody is interested in going back to him, he's there as Chaitaguru, keeps giving him instructions. Otherwise, he's there as Sakshi also. He never abandons. Whatever be the situation, everybody else can abandon, but he does not abandon us. And then as Gunavatar of Shiva for annihilation, that we have already discussed. So he's there all the time. So that was the principle, and we would try to understand it through a pastime. Since this pastime is something very common, which most of the people know. So through this, we'll try to understand how he is present everywhere, beginning, middle, and end. So here we can see in the middle we have that for Mandar Parvat for churning the ocean, and one side we have Devatas, and on the other side we have Asuras. So context, it's just a kind of reminder. Since we are generally familiar with that, I'll just cursorily go through that. So as you all might be aware that once Durvasa Rishi offered the garland, Prasadi garland, to Indra, and Indra he passed it on to his elephant carrier, to Airavat, and Airavat did not respect it. He just threw that garland. And Durvasa Rishi, naturally, he became very angry at Indra as to why he behaved in that way, that Prasadi garland was insulted. So he cursed him, and Indra had to suffer a lot for that. The good thing about Devatas is whatever they may do so many things wrong, but for everything, they turn towards Krishna. Chaturvidha bhajante mam. So distressed people, whenever they are in distress, they don't look anywhere else. They look only towards Krishna, and Krishna likes it. He reciprocates. So there also, when they were in trouble, when they were in distress, they went to him only for solution. And then he suggested that there can be a churning of the milk ocean. And in that churning, finally nectar will come out. And after they get that nectar, after they get Amrit, they'll become more powerful and they'll be able to reclaim their loka from the asuras. Because when Indra had become weak because of the curse from Durvasa Rishi, the Suras under Bali Maharaj, that time Bali Maharaj was there in Pal, he was ruling. So under him, under his leadership, they had gone and defeated all the Devatas. So he said, now after you get the nectar, you can again reclaim your kingdom. So now Indra agreed for that and he was just following his instructions. So now Vishnu is giving him the solution. What is the solution of the problem that they are facing? And then he also told Indra, see, now you have to go and seek help from the Asuras. He's giving all kinds of good counsel to Indra. He is always there in the picture. So he said, now you go there, this is how they will behave with you, but then you have to be very much self-controlled and your eyes should be focused. Vyavasaitimika buddhi. You have to be just focused that you somehow or the other you have to take their help because alone you can't do it. So Indra agrees, follows all the necessary instructions, and then he is able to make them agree to the proposal, Asuras. He makes the Asuras agree to the proposal of participating in the churning of the ocean. So now they all also join. Asuras are there, Devatas are there. Mandar Parvat is also brought as the churning rod, but they realize that it's not holding, it's not staying in one place. Then again he says, okay, I'll once again come in the picture. So he comes as Kurma avatar, as the tortoise, and they try to churn it. And then again they realize, okay, from down it is balanced, but from top it is not balanced. Again it's losing its balance. So what do we do? Then again he expands himself, Krishna, he expands himself and he is there in the Ajita form. You can see in the picture also, he's sitting right on top of Mandar mountain. So from top also he's balancing, from down also he's balancing. He is giving his good counsel also how to go about it. And then Vasuki is called, he tells them how Vasuki can be used as the churning rope. So Vasuki is brought in the picture. And then he says, see, you should try to, avoid to be there near the mouth of Vasuki. So how you have to speak and all, everything he gives them all kinds of ideas. And then finally, Asuras were holding near the mouth of Vasuki and Devatas were holding near its tail. The churning starts. So many entities come out of that, including Surabhi cow, Kamdhenu cow, the transcendental divine horse, and then Lakshmi Devi also comes. And then comes Dhanavantri, who is none other than the Lord himself, with the pot of nectar. And now pot of nectar has come, but distribution creates problem. Asuras just take charge of that. They just snatch the pot of nectar from Dhanavantri. And then again, the Lord is there in the picture. For the distribution of nectar, he comes again in the Mohini Murti form. So now all of them have participated. It's such a beautiful pastime. We will take it further in some other form also. But here I just wanted to just draw your attention that he is there right from beginning. Right from beginning. Even when the poison comes out, he's there and he says, actually, we can see that everywhere he is there, he's taking care of everything. But when it comes to poison, he gives the credit to his devotee. Let Shiva is his Ananya Bhakta, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu, and he gives the credit to Shivaji. So he is there, but he's not taking credit for himself. And whatever he's doing, for whom is he doing? Where is the need for him to do all that? Why should he expand himself as Kurma? Why should he expand himself as Ajita? Why should he expand himself as Mohini Murti? Why should he expand himself as Dhanavantari? And in the beginning also of our good counseling and everything. The only connection is of love. He is there, but he is so much loving, so much affectionate. He's there and still not there because all the time he wants to give the credit to his devotees. But his love can be felt everywhere. He is in the beginning, he is in the middle, He's in the end. And now we'll just, uh, and with his devotees, of course, he's especially little partial. He's there for everybody. He's loving towards everybody. He's compassionate towards everybody. He shares his causeless mercy on everybody. But then at the same time, he's little partial towards his devotees for their benefit. And even for the benefit of those who have not turned toward their head towards him, who are Krishna Vimukh, for them also he is compassionate by giving them the necessary chastisement. Because if one is not connected, one will keep continuing that kind of sinful activity if they are not chastised properly. So, in that pastime which we studied just now of churning of the ocean, see, Asuras participated and Devatas participated. Both of them put equal effort in the churning, but the outcomes for the two were different. Devatas got the nectar, but the Asuras did not get. It's not because Krishna is not merciful on them. It will be beneficial for the asuras that they don't perpetuate their sinful activities for long. So for them, they were not given the nectar by Mohini. And for devatas, they have to take care of the whole administration of the universe in the necessary way. So they were given the nectar. So outcome can be different because of his intelligent, discriminative compassion. And here we see how he chooses to be the servant of his devotees. Ete chamasha kalaha pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuge Yuge. He expands himself. All the avatars, they all come from him at different points of time to help his devotees. There are several examples. Here I have just taken a few. And he loves to become their servant. He loves to do that out of his love. He is the master of everything. He is there, as we studied just now, in the beginning, middle, and end. But despite his unquestionable, unparalleled position, he loves to be the servant of his devotees. Like, for instance, in the case of Arjun, he is such a wonderful devotee he is. He chooses to be his charioteer. Generally, when we have Bhagavad Gita in our hands, we see it right on the cover page, Arjun and Krishna as Partha Sarthi. It conveys a lot of things. The, the position of a charioteer or a driver is not so much respectable. The master is there and the charioteer has to take care of so many things. Whatever the driver, whatever the charioteer, whatever the person sitting behind the master says, okay, this is where I want to go. The charioteer just has to follow the instruction. Even Arjun said, now take the chariot right in the middle. He took. So whatever he was being instructed, Krishna was following. And there are many things associated with that role. It's not that he has to just ride it. In fact, he has to take care of the chariot, the maintenance of the horse, cleaning their potty, cleaning their urine, even giving them medicine, giving them massage. All this is the duty of the charioteer. And it is mentioned that whenever Arjun would climb, he would try to climb the chariot, he would bend down and show his hand to help him climb. So on that, he would keep his feet and climb the chariot. And Arjun was so fast, he was so quick in shooting his arrows that his lip movement was slower than the movement of his hands. So he would indicate the direction by kicking Krishna on the side, on that particular side of his shoulder. Like if he wanted the chariot to be turned towards right, he would kick his right shoulder. If he wanted it in the other direction, in the left direction, he would kick on the left shoulder. So all this, why should Krishna take it? He's like, we have just seen his role, what he is, his greatness. But then he has accepted that humble position out of his love. That's his love. And same thing we see even in the case of Bali Maharaj. Arjuna, of course, he had the sambandha of devotee, and he had served in so many ways. He was his friend. But what about Bali Maharaj? Bali Maharaj, that's not the case. But still, just one gesture of his, offering his head to the Lord when the third step, there was no place for keeping the third step in his Vamana Rupa. He just offered his head, going against even the instruction of his own Guru Shukracharya. He said, no, I have committed. And even if Krishna has come, no problem. I just offer myself. That's my good fortune that he has come. And when he offered himself that way, he may have punished him. He must have gone down to the lower planetary system, but he chose the position of his darbari, no, what we call it, uh, well, those who stand at the entrance, guard, as a kind of guard. He chose that humble position. So that shows how loving he is. We are just trying to understand the tale of love that he has been sharing. So here we have one Asura also, and he's showing his love. And then we come to Gopas. Gopas, it's beautiful. It's nectar. He is just with them, morning, getting up early in the morning, going with them. And they are giving their uchishta their to Krishna when they are sharing their food items. It's not the way we offer, okay, we are doing all the prayers, ringing the bell and all that. No, they are just sharing. Just take, see, it's very nice. Just take it. So they are giving their jute also, and they're not realizing it's all out of love. They are doing it, and Krishna is also reciprocating so nicely. Yeah, 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 I like it. Your mother has prepared this item so nicely. So it's all a beautiful reciprocation of love, which he just keeps sharing. And does he have any motive behind? Is there any undercurrent of any motive behind? Absolutely nothing. What will he gain? What will Krishna gain? He is Atma Rama. He is complete in himself. God is independently complete, but we are dependently complete. We become complete when we are dependent on him. But he is independent and he is still complete. So it's out of his causeless mercy that he purifies the aspiring devotees and glorifies his pure devotees. So for both the devotees, there is place. Even for asuras, there is place. As we have seen in Bali Maharaj's case, for them also, he is very merciful in different ways. For different people, different treatment. But the reason behind is just his love. So for devotees, I have mentioned because here we are all sitting together and we have this group. So I am referring to devotees here. So those who are sadhakas, for them, he helps in purifying us. And those who are already in the state of pure devotion, for them, he chooses to glorify them as he did with Shivji. Here, I was talking about Shivji and I just put a picture here, the greatest renunciant. Such a wonderful devotee he is. Generally, people with different material aspirations, they go to Shivji, and Shivji bestows also. But what is his lifestyle? How is he living? He doesn't even have one shelter on his head. Nothing. The When we see the setting there, it's so cold. It's so cold there where he stays. But we don't see any woolen garments on him. He's just in a deer skin. He's just wearing that. And then without any shelter, all the time meditating on Krishna's activities. But we see Krishna, his tale of love continues. He loves to glorify his devotees. That's why he glorified Shivaji. When the churning of the ocean was going on, even he could have taken the poison. If he can balance the whole Mandar mountain on his back, and he finds that churning as a kind of tickling sensation on his back, he could have easily taken the poison. That was nothing for him, but he wanted to glorify his pure devotee, so he chose Shivji. You take the poison. And Shivji nicely he took, oh, Krishna is giving me an opportunity, and he accepted it. And from then he is known as Nilakantha. So beautiful the sambandha is with the Lord. One can enjoy at every step, whether it is beginning, middle, or the end. But every step uh, in this, otherwise, in the material world, at every step there is danger. But when we are in connection with Krishna, every step becomes blissful and enjoyable. But then, while what are we doing? But we, Jiva, we try to dissociate ourselves and we see we are the doer. Though he is there right from beginning till end, but then प्रकृते क्रियमाणानि गुणहि कर्माणि सर्वशः अहंकार विमूढ़ात्मा kartaham iti manyate. What more foolish thought can be than thinking that we are the doer? But Krishna, to give us, he has given us little independence, that minute independence he has given us called free will. He just wants that from us. He's sharing all these things. He's doing all this. Why? To make us realize, see, you also have the potential to reciprocate my love. Just to show us that. If he doesn't give, we'll be more like robo. But in order to relish that, he has said, I'm giving you that kind of path, that kind of little independence I have given you. This minute independence itself, we have misused it to such a great extent. Had he given us more, I don't know how we would have behaved. But he gave us this little minute independence, that free will. If we utilize it and surrender it to him and surrender our love to him, that will make it so beautiful. Now, all this while, it has been a one sided love. Usually, we see that kind of one sided love in movies and we shed tears. We feel so bad for the main protagonist. But here, Krishna, all these years, we have been at least 84 lakh times we have been born, at least. And we have never reciprocated that love. Now, there's an opportunity. Now that we are trying to understand it, we have an opportunity. Oh, Krishna, I understand your love and I'll try to reciprocate. Whatever love you're giving us, I'll try to reciprocate it. So he gives us that opportunity. So this prema, however, it's not so easily attained, but we have to progress. It comes in different stages, which I have tried to mention here. Adau Shraddha. It begins with Shraddha. And from Shraddha, when we develop little reverence, when we have little faith, then it comes to what do we do next? Then we start looking for somebody with whom can I associate and try to know more. Comes Sadhu Sangha. And then when we are serious, we are associating with devotees, we are having more and more of Sadhu Sangha. When two people are together, then what do? We do Bhajana Kriya, Bodhayanta Parasparam, what we are trying to do here. And then as we engage ourselves seriously in this Bhajana Kriya, then starts the process of cleansing, Anartha Nivritti. And then as that cleansing process becomes little more intense, then we move towards nishtha. Whatever sadhana process we have taken up, we do it very sincerely. With nishtha, we do it. And as we continue with that nishtha also, slowly we developed taste for that. Initially, while chanting, we may be all the time, checking our Sakshi Mala. How many more rounds are left? It's not giving us ruchi, but we are doing it. No, I have taken up this vow, I have to do it. But then slowly, as we continue, then we develop taste for that. Little bit of ruchi comes. Then asakti, we get attached to that process. And then slowly from that, bhava comes. And from then, finally, prema comes, which is the goal of our life. Krishna prema. It's nothing but reciprocation of his love, what we have been seeing all this while. It's just we are trying to reciprocate to it. After all, Ekale Ishvara Krishna Arasab Bhritya. He is only controller. He is only one. We are just his servants. So even if we are developing little love for him, that is how it should be. That's a natural way. We are being unnatural, actually. We are being unnatural. But that's the natural way. So it's not very complicated. We just have to develop the desire. Then again, Krishna will come, and he'll help us in that process. And his devotees, it's not that, he is running short of his devotees. He has countless devotees around him who are ready to serve him in every form. They become his asan, they become the ground on which he will step, they become his earrings, they become his clothing, they become his bed, everything they are ready to. So he is not running short of devotees or followers, but he does it, he shares all this love because he is the king of love. We cannot have a better lover than him. He's the supreme lover, and he's sharing his causeless mercy on us, that you also join. See, here I'm enjoying with them, they are enjoying with me, you also come and join this, together we will enjoy. And I think in one of the sessions I had mentioned how his old friend Gopa Kumar, when he comes back, how he welcomes him. He just goes and hugs him, he just holds him tight and he says, thank you, you have come. So that's a beauty, that is love. So slowly we should try to purify our thoughts, whatever we desires we have, material desires, and whatever we have discussed about his love, we should try to remember it and try not to forget it. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Sadahi Spurakamora Mane. And we'll take another, how can we make our life successful? Krishna makes it sound very, very simple. जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम एवं यो वेत्ति तत्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहम पुनर्जन्म नैति मामेति सो अर्जुन. He says, anyone who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and my activities, who has understood this part, that whatever I do, they are all transcendental. Even when I appear, everything is transcendental. Those who have understood this, when they leave the body, they don't come again. It sounds so simple, na? It's very simple to to see as such. But as we saw just before that, there are nine stages. It doesn't come so easily, because from the part of information, it has to come to the level of realization. I also know I'm not this material body, I'm a spirit soul. I realize this, I understand this. But to realize this, that's something different. For 10 hours, you don't give me water, I'll start jumping up and down. I'm thirsty. Now Nirjala Ekadashi is coming. We'll be very much, reminded, okay, we are this body, but then I have to control. Though we know that we are not this body. So slowly we have to move towards realization, but everything comes from him. And as he mentions that when you know these things, then there'll be no coming back. So how do we know him? We cannot straight away jump to the plane of love and say, okay, this is it. There's a way. What is the way? We'll try to study through the example of Dhruv Maharaj. When Dhruv Maharaj went to the forest and he was doing the penance and all, the Lord could see what he is doing and he was very happy. What was his desire? He desired father's throne. That's how he had started. But then slowly, the moment a person turns towards Krishna, somehow or the other, whether that person is in distress or he has some kind of desire, whatever, the moment he be connected to Krishna, he's purified. So his all those material desire also, they were all slowly getting cleansed and he was getting purified. And he could understand. Krishna could understand all these things. He could have come right in the beginning also. He was very happy and satisfied with him. But what is the process? He sent Narada Muni first. You go there, guide him. You tell him how great I am. Then he'll be able to value me. Then only he'll be able to value the relationship. Then only he'll be able to value the love. So when Narad Muni gave him all the instructions, the guidance, or the process was complete for Dhruv Maharaj, then finally he comes in front of him and he gives his darshan. And then Dhruv Maharaj is able to, oh my God, the Lord of Lords has come here. And he's totally stupefied. He doesn't even know how to utter the prayer also. But Krishna helps him with that also. He touches his head so nicely. with his conch shell, and he just starts singing his glories. So he's the object of meditation. He is the one who is providing, also giving the guidance through Narada Muni. He is the one who is appearing also in front of him. And when he is not able to glorify, then also he's putting his conch shell on him. So he's there, but we have to turn our head towards him to seek his love. We are enjoying so much, like we have Maya Devi in Avranatmika and Prakshipatmika. Prakshipatmika, we enjoy our fallen state. We think we are enjoying so much. Why should I turn my head towards Krishna? I'm already so happy. I'm already so blissful. So when we realize that we are actually suffering and we turn towards him and we actually want to love him, Krishna will definitely help us. And we have to pray. We have to pray that Krishna, when you come, I should be able to recognize you. Otherwise, many times he comes in so many ways, but we are not able to reciprocate because we don't have that desire in us. Krishna was present even in front of Duryodhan. He was present in front of Dhritarashtra also, but they never recognized. So they could never value it. So we never know that we have him around us, even in the form of Guru we have. But how sincerely are we trying to follow his instructions? We should always give ourselves a time to do this kind of manthan within us, this kind of churning and introspection. Krishna will definitely help us. Then we will be able to see Krishna the way he is. And that Premanjana, Guru will help us. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena. Santah Sadev Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. And Sarva Karana Karanam. We recite this quite a good number of times. There can be so many planes of understanding it. I'm going in a very, very elementary way, very, very elementary, and in a beginning kind of thing, very preliminary way. He is the object of meditation. When yogis are meditating, Shivaji is meditating. On whom are they trying to? They are trying to meditate on the transcendental or divine form of Krishna. We'll try to understand all this through a pastime also. Here I'm just giving, in the bullet form, but in the very next slide, I'll try to share this through a pastime. So he is the object of meditation of all the yogis, of all the people who are interested in love, actual love. And all of us are, but we don't know where to look for. So basically, it's relevant to everybody. He is the source and meaning of each and every word or language that we use. Even when we say, light, darkness, all this relativity, everything comes from him in the form of Om. He is the one who starts the sound, the language, everything, it begins from him. Even when we talk about in bhakti, we use these terms sambandha, abhideya, and prayojan. So when we try to know even about our own selves, who am I? Then also it connects us to Krishna. I am his servant. So Sambandha also he is there. That is my identity. And Prayojana, I have to develop Krishna Prema. I have to go back to his abode to serve him. So that is a Prayojan. How do we do? We have to chant his holy name. So beginning, middle, end, he is the one. He is the Sarvakarana Karanam. Everywhere he is there. He is there. He is the supreme cause of all the causes. He is the object of Vedas. Vedascha sarve aham eva vedyo. Vedanta krit Vedavid eva chaham. By all the Vedas, I am the one to be known. And he is the compiler of Vedas also. And he is the knower of the Vedas, of attachment, of renunciation. These things may sound opposite, like attachment and renunciation, but then Krishna is master of everything. He's the most mystical personality one can have. So all these we'll try to understand through a pastime. And here I have given this pastime of Shivaji chasing Mohini Murti form of the Lord. This is A beautiful pastime. I just love it. And at the same time, it's also connected to the pastime, the churning of ocean. So I chose this. And generally, people are aware because here my objective is not to come up with new pastimes, but to try to study the known pastimes from different perspectives. So his mystical ways and his way of loving dealings with his devotees. In the previous slide, I mentioned how Krishna is very partial towards his devotees, and he can be really playful also with his devotees. Now, Shivji, as we know, he is like highest cadre of renunciant who has renounced everything. And then Shivji was not present when nectar was being distributed, when Krishna came in the form of Mohini Murti. So later on, when he came to know about that pastime, about that expansion of the Lord, he went to him along with his wife, his other Bhutaganas, and he requested the Lord that I heard a lot about that form of yours. Apparently, it was very attractive. And I request you that you please show me that Mohini Murti form of yours. The way Arjun had requested Krishna to show his universal form. Here, Shivji is requesting him to show his Mohini Murti form. And he obliged, but he wanted to be playful also at the same time. I think there's some disturbance in the background. Uh, Hare Krishna. Thank you. And he came in his Mohini form. And Shivji got so attracted. He didn't realize, he just forgot that he is with his wife. His followers are there. And he just started chasing Mohini form of the Lord. He was just chasing her or him, whatever. But he was chasing the Lord in such a way that he had lost total control of himself, as if she was literally pulling him by strings, And he's totally bewildered, and he is choosing, as Mohini, the Lord is choosing to take the course where all different rishis who have renounced everywhere, they are his great followers, Shivaji's followers. They are all in deep meditation. From there he is going, and Shivji is just following, unaware. He is totally like in total oblivion of what is happening around, who all are watching him. He's just not concerned. He is just following him, and he wanted to be there uniting with him, and he's having the whole fun, and everybody is watching. Oh my god, Shivji, who is like the greatest renunciant, who is always meditating on the Lord, how come he is chasing a woman like this? How can he do like that? They're all thinking, but then Shivji is oblivious of all those things. He's just going around and following him. And it is also mentioned in Bhagavatam that time he was like so much attached, so much attracted by that form, that he was discharging also. And then towards the end, of course, when that pastime gets over, then Shivji comes to his senses. Acha, I was doing this. And it was this Mohini Murti form to whom I got attracted so much. It was no other than my Supreme Lord on whom I am meditating all the time. If we keep ourselves in that position of Shivji, will realize, how embarrassing can it be. Like we have our friends, in front of our friends or our followers, whoever we may have around, in front of our family members, if we do something embarrassing, we'll not be able to show our faces. We'll think, no, my God, now my life has come to an end. How will I show myself? Now, and Shivji has done something like this, that he's chasing a woman and he's just not aware of what is happening around. and he's in a really very very embarrassing state. But his response was not the way we would. He started dancing ecstatically. He said, "Oh, this is the greatness of my supreme lord, that he made me dance to his tune and I was just following him like anything." Like he is so great, such an exalted devotee he is, that he is dancing instead of feeling bad. He is dancing. So the but why is it happening like that? This is all because of the mystical ways of Krishna. In same Mohini Murti form, he had come in front of the Devatas also, but they were not bewildered because Krishna didn't want to bewilder them. They were there very much in control of their senses. But Shivaji, who is the ascetic of highest order, he was not able to control because Krishna wanted him to run behind him. He wanted to show, basically this pastime brings out greatness of Shivaji, how great devotee he is. These kind of playful, loving dealings can be only with the devotees, these kind of intimate dealings. So one can be ascetic and one can be, in fact, the real ascetic, real renunciant is actually attached, most attached to the lotus feet of the Lord. That's what the pastime shows, what we discussed of Mohini Murti and Shivaji. That was to bring out the loving aspect of the Lord towards his devotees. It can be different with different devotees, and he enjoys it, and so do his devotees. So, from there, now we will come to another aspect of his sweetness and of his love. Madhuradhipate Akhilam Madhuram. Here we'll just quickly try to go to the. I'm not aware of the time. I hope I'm not crossing. Just a sec. Oh, I'll try to wind it fast. So here we'll just refer to the pastime of Nrsimha Devji. When the Lord appeared in the form of Nrsimha Devji and Prahlad Maharaj was there, he has already killed all the asuras. And then towards the end, Prahlad Maharaj goes and sits in his lap. And since the Lord is in the form of lion, which is a big cat, so he was just licking him with his tongue. He was licking Prahlad Maharaj with his tongue, holding him closely, cuddling him. And Maharaj was also reciprocating. He was also holding him and with so much of dependence on Nrsimha Dev. And that time when Nrsimha Dev ji saw Prahlad Maharaj, he's Atmarama, but then he developed one desire in his heart. He thought, oh, my Bhakt Prahlad Maharaj is enjoying so much. He's holding me so nicely. He's depending so much upon me. He was having that Vatsalya Bhava that time. So he said, now I want to swap the roles and see how it feels to be somebody's child. I want to enjoy that. It's all out of love, basically. So he wanted to swap that role. So he developed that one desire in the form of Nrsimha Dev. He is Atma Rama. We should never forget his greatness and his position, that he is Atma Rama. But his love is so overflowing that to show it further, he says, now I want to enjoy that Vatsalya Bhava. He has appeared from pillar. He doesn't need parents, but now he is choosing to enjoy that. I want to have parents. So then he came as Sri Ramji. So his next form, that reservoir of sweetness and love, is expanding himself to enjoy those rasas more and more. And we can see Dashrath Maharaj there with all the four, Chaturvyu, and then we have Sri Ramji there in the middle. He fulfilled that desire. Oh, I have got it nicely. I'm getting love from my father. I'm getting mother, not from one mother, I'm getting from three mothers. So that one desire of his is fulfilled. But then after that pastime, he realized few more things. Like he tried to develop friendship with a few, like Vibhishan, Sugriv, Hanuman, but none of them considered him as his friend. That intimacy was not able to come. He treated like they treated him like prince only. Like Sugriv would never sit, go and how Gopas would behave. He cannot do that. Then he felt, no, I think I need friends also. So in Sriramji's pastime, though he was able to fulfill his earlier desire of relishing the Vatsalya rasa, he developed two other desires. In the Vanavas, when he met the yogis who were meditating, and they developed attraction for him, and they said, please accept us as your consort. He said, not in this next, in my next form, when I come, that time I'll accept. So he developed two desires: to have good, nice, intimate friends, and then to reciprocate the love of the yogis whom he had promised. So from one, his desire becomes two. Atma Rama is developing more desire now, which is coming out of love. And then he comes in the form of Krishna. So now his desire of friends is also complete. And those friends are now so intimate that many times they make Krishna only cry. Will not play with you unless you agree. Now you have lost in the game, now become a donkey. And many times Krishna says, no, I will become everything but not donkey. Donkey is very like, I don't want to accept that position. Then he says, okay, you go out, will not play with you. Then again he comes back. Acha, theek hai, I'll accept the position of a devotee. You can ride on me. Donkey, you can ride on me. Why is it happening? It's all the tale of love which is going on, it's just continuing. So in the form of, when he came in his original form as Krishna, he fulfilled his earlier two desires of having good intimate friends and of those yogis and tapasvis also when he performed the Rasa Leela. So that was done. Here I have mentioned about, like how during Govardhan Leela, just to show the intimacy of that, like he is trying to, when as Varahadev, he lifted Prithvi. So when he lifted Prithvi, he was glorified, so many nice hymns are there, so many nice prayers are there. And that time when they became so intimate, he thought, okay, when I do some Govardhan Leela, maybe they'll develop some awe for me. Nothing of that kind happened. They were all, when he was performing the Govardhan Leela, they were all standing with their sticks. Now we will support him because they never treated him as Bhagwanta. So they are standing with their sticks. So we'll try to help him, because we never know what if the Govardhanji, it loses the balance and it falls down. We'll try to help. And gopis, they are thinking, oh, since we prepared such nice high quality butter and he was stealing it from our house, that is why he's so strong. So everybody is enjoying, like it's such beautiful pastimes are there. Somehow time is the limiting factor. And they are trying to trouble him also in different ways because that's the license which friendship gives. Go, gopis will make him dance. And when he performs that beautiful dance on Kalia's hood, which is very difficult to do so on a snake, but he did that. And when he is out of that, he was thinking, okay, now maybe somewhere they will realize I'm something, I'm something great. But we we have heard it that when he came out, they were saying, Array, for so long he was there in the water, he must be feeling cold now. First, you wrap him up with the towels. So that's the feeling that they have for him. He was enjoying it nevertheless. And after this, he developed infinite desire. From one, it became two, from two, it became three, and from three, it became infinite desire. And then here I have just referred to that pastime where all the four unique, his Leela Madhuri, Prem Madhuri, Venu Madhuri, and Rupa Madhuri is there. But we don't have time, so I'm not going into that. But then after that, he has developed infinite desire and he comes in the form of Mahaprabhu. But what are those desires? Why has it resulted in that? He wanted to know the depth of Radharani's love. Now, one desire has become to two. Now, from two, it has become to three. Now, what are those three desires? To know the depth of Radharani's love when he was having those dealings with her. And what qualities in him are there which are attracting Radharani so much? He wanted to understand that. understand that. And at the same time, he also wanted to know when he reciprocates her love, what happens to Srimati Radharani. So, in order to understand these three aspects, then he came in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all the desires were fulfilled, but he developed infinite desire of delivering infinite jivas with unlimited mercy and infinite love for Krishna. And he distributed it freely. Golokera Premadhana, Harinama Sankirtana. So he distributed to one and all, to all the jivas, not just to human beings, to all the jivas around. How in Jharikanda forest, all the animals were, dancing and participating. So this is his infinite love towards one and all. And here I've just briefly tried to convey how he was trying to achieve that goal, to deliver infinite, to lift infinite jivas out of ignorance and take them back to Godhead. Cleansing infinite jiva's heart, cheto darpana marjanam, and blessing all with detachment from material world and attachment to Krishna. Because Bhogeshwarya, we have read, no, 2.44. All this desire for Aishwarya and attachment to senses, they don't go along with bhakti. So it has to be cleansed. So that detachment also Krishna only helps. He is the force behind detachment. He is the force behind attachment also. So both ways, he is the one who is working. So if we desire to develop detachment, then also we have to look towards him only. And he helps us. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he helps us in developing that. And then he purifies our existence. Bhav Mahadavagni Nirvapadam. And then what happens? He awards us a life of bliss and happiness in association with Krishna. Anandam Buddhivardhanam. We start to enjoy. Then the real joy comes. Then the real little bit of reciprocation of love comes in our heart. Towards whom? Govinda Madi Purusham Tamham Bhajame. And I was just reminded of Ras Khan's glorification. You all must be familiar with this. Somehow I love it. It was there when we were kids. It was there in our CBSE syllabus Hindi book. They used to give this poem. How Krishna is being glorified by everybody. Nirantar, Jahi Nirantar Gave. Who is singing? Shesha. Sheshanagaji, Ananta Shesha. Shesha. Ganesh. Ganesh ji has given us Bhagavad Gita. He is also glorifying. Mahesh. Shivaji. Dinesh. Dinake Ishwar. That is Surya. Sun God. And Suresh. Suresh is Sura's head, which is Indra. All of them are glorifying and Nirantar glorifying. Jahi Nirantar Gave. शेष गणेश महेश दिनेश सुरेश जही निरंतर गावे जही अनादि अनंत अखंड अछेद अभेद सुवेद बतावे. And what are they singing? Like they are singing about he is beginningless, he is endless, unlimited, indestructible, and void of all differences. Narad says Shuk Vyas Rahe. Means from Narada to Shuka, Vyas, everybody is glorifying him. All great devotees. They are all glorifying him. And they are saying, इनका तो पार ही नहीं पता चल रहा है. We are not able to fathom his glories. So glorious he is. पछिहारे तो पुनि पार न पावे. ताही अहिर की छोहरिया छछिया भरी छाछ पे नाच नचावे. This is a typical like language what we speak in somewhere near Ayodhya. So they say Ahir ki choriya, they are the gopis. Those gopis, just by showing him little palm full of butter, they make him dance to their tune. Whom are they making dance to their tune? To the person, to the personality, that supreme personality of Godhead. For these people, Shesh, Ganesh, Mahesh, Dinesh, Suresh, all these people are trying to glorify him continuously. That personality of Godhead, that supreme lover, is dancing to the tune of those Ahiriki Chohariya. So that's his love. We also cannot fathom his love. but we can feel, yes, there is so much of love from his side. Somewhere we have to make an effort to reciprocate it. Hare Krishna. I hope I was able to put my thought across.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
for the very nectarian class, actually. And I could feel, and I'm sure everybody could feel that love of Krishna's when you were narrating each and every pastime and everything. And I could also make out that how much you were relishing while giving us, this important ones. So, Mataji, a bit of summary that I would like to say what you narrated.
Yes.
So, the tale of love that begins is with the Sambandha Gyan with him, and he is Pitamaha Asya Jagato, Mata Dhata Pitamaha, which is really most important to know, and it's wonderful. I loved it. I am the mother, father, maintainer, and grandsire of the universe. So he is the father of all the jivas, be any species actually. We
Yes.
should also try to follow the gopis in terms of surrender. Then we can see how Krishna is so loving that he's provided us with all the food and whatever we need in this universe. So he's taken care of each and everything, that if he's sending us here, but he's giving us everything, providing everything for us. He's truly very loving. Then you mentioned the pastime of the churning of milk ocean, wherein we can see that even the demigods, when they are in distress, they go to only Krishna. So, and then although Krishna is there since beginning till the end, but he gives credit to his devotees like Lord Shiva for the poison. He loves to become servant of his devotees like Arjuna and Bali Maharaj, Gopa's very beautiful pastimes with them. Then prema is actually not realized, easily attained. We have to progress with different stages like Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajan Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, etc. Then he's Sarva Karana Karanam, and he's the reservoir of all sweetness and love in the form of Narsimhadev, and he's Akhil Rasamrit's Murti. So we should always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Mataji, thank you so much giving us the nectar. And actually, we have heard this was a very different topic from you, so it was really nectarian. Mataji, thank you so
So
much.
much. If there is time for question, I would love to take.
Yeah. So, devotees, if anybody would like to ask any questions, please go ahead.
Danvat Pranam Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Jai Krishna Mataji.
It is always wonderful class, Mataji, whenever you take. Thank you for such a wonderful class. Mataji, I have one question.
Yes, Mataji.
I am the soul, not the body. How to realize it? Because if something happen, also we start panicking, bewildering. So how to realize that I am the soul? I am the soul, not the body.
Yes, Mataji. This is very, very important because I have understood and realized only one thing. For everything, I have to turn towards him. There's no other way. When Krishna wanted, like as we tried to study through that pastime also of where he comes in the form of Mohini Murti. So devatas were also present there, but they didn't get bewildered by him because Krishna had given them the necessary strength to overcome that particular emotion. But he wanted Shivji to chase him, so he made him chase. So here also, if we really develop that desire, no, I don't want to be trapped inside something very artificial, because body is after all artificial covering for us. That is not our original swarupa. So when we make up our mind, we have to pray to Krishna through our parampara, of course. We have to pray unto him that you please help me come out of this. I had become vimukha. I had turned my head against you, like in the opposite direction. I may have faltered, I may have sinned so many times, but now give me one opportunity. I want to reciprocate that love and I want to come out of this prison house of this body. Please help me. I'm sure His mercy will flow down. From our own side, we cannot do anything. We cannot develop because the energy or whatever discovering that we have when we read in Srimad Bhagavatam, the tattvas with which we are made, they all come from Him only. So it's His energy which is covering us. How can we fight His energy? We don't have that much of strength to fight Krishna's energy. We in his Shatashvarya we study, he's the most strong person. He's the strongest. So we cannot fight against his energy. The only way out is that we surrender at his lotus feet and keep praying to him. Please help me come out of this prison house of this body consciousness. It will happen. But we may not have to, we may need not pray exclusively for that. The moment we start praying that I want to develop that love towards you, these things will happen on their own. They happen on their own. Earlier, I may not be able to observe Nirjala fasting, but these days we are able to do so. Why? Because Krishna gives us the necessary energy to do that. So when we try to take that path of bhakti, these kind of realizations will definitely come on their own. Goal has to be Krishna prema. And for that, if we continuously pray, I'm sure it will happen. There's no doubt about that. Krishna avashya raksha karenge. This is one of the things that we have to always keep in our heart. I'm sure we will slowly graduate from body consciousness to soul level consciousness. On our own, we cannot. We definitely cannot. Through our Guru, we have to keep rendering our prayers to Krishna. This is what I have learned and experienced, whatever little narrow experience I have. This is what I have felt. I hope it answers your doubt.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
I would like to add one more thing. If somebody is not convinced, please don't let me go, You can tell me I'm not convinced. I'll try to answer. Because I was myself a person who would, ask so many questions that I was literally shown the way to ISKCON from Ramakrishna Mission Ashram. Earlier, I used to go to Ramakrishna Mission Ashram and I would ask them so many questions. I had written so many letters to different organizations, to Yogananda Society, to this, that, whatever, I would give them a list of questions. Please answer this. This is based on the book that has come out from your organization only. So please try to answer. They were not able to fulfill. Finally, I started going there personally. They were not able to answer. And then they said, did you go to ISKCON? So I said, Acha, wo bhi hai. You tell me the way. Then they told me, you go little another kilometer from here, you'll go to ISKCON. And there they answered all my questions to my satisfaction. So I know the importance of curiosity, that inquisitiveness. So if one is not satisfied, please never agree to that. Say, I'm not satisfied. I'll try to answer. I'll try my best to answer. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji, pranams.
Yes, Mataji.
Pranams to
Yes,
you and
Padma.
to all the assembled devotees. Mataji, when you were narrating that Mohini Murti pastime, I was just reminded of the incidents that I read in Bhagavatam. I mean, when Brahmaji was creating, his own creations were attracted towards him and they started chasing him. Yeah, he got bewildered and he just ran from the place. So I was just relating the incidents that happened with Brahmaji and with Shiv. But here Shiva ultimately ran behind the supreme controller. So he was saved, I suppose. So I
Yes.
wanted to just share this point, Mataji. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really nice. Actually, there's surrender when we When we read, we see their level of surrender is so high. Like Shivji, like we just read about that. It's so beautiful. He's not feeling embarrassed. In fact, he's dancing ecstatically. And there, Brahmaji, when Brahmaji was chased by few asuras in the course of creation, they started chasing Brahmaji. Like that sets the attraction towards the same gender. That sets the seed for that. So Brahmaji initially he could not believe it. He was laughing, Arey, what is this? He never realized its seriousness. Then so slowly it dawned upon him, oh, they are actually chasing me. They can do anything with me. And that time he just ran to Krishna and he said, now this is the dilemma that I am facing. This is the calamity that I am facing. And then he says, now you just give up your body. Immediately Brahmaji gives up the body. And I'm wondering what I will do. Suppose now also if somebody comes and tells me, Vrindavanlila, you just shed your body, you'll immediately go to the topmost destination. Are we that detached that we'll say, yes, please take me? But Brahmaji didn't question it even once. Give up your body means given up. Immediately they give up. So high is their surrender. And still that's not the topmost. In one of the bhajans, one of the Vaishnava acharyas, he says, I don't want to become Chaturmukha Brahma because there is something even higher. Because Krishna's love is much, much higher. And to reciprocate to that love, we have to raise ourselves even further to Brahma, who surrendered. Just now we said that he shed his life just at the drop of hat. So much of detachment one needs to have. Detachment from material things and attachment towards his lotus feet. But there are such beautiful pastimes which are just nectarian. One can just go on and on with that. Any other question? Thank you for reminding that pastime, Mataji. Hare Krishna. I don't see any hands raised here as such.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, I think everybody is cleared about it. Mataji, still I have something in my mind. Can I ask you?
Please, with my great fortune.
Mataji, it's like when we are praying also, but as you mentioned that if anybody comes to take you, are you detached to go? So it's Mataji, that kind of surrender. I mean, what do you need? That love of Godhead is it will take ages to come with practice. Is it like that? Or because as you mentioned that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to give, the love of Godhead. And there is one song also that he's asking Nityanand Prabhu and to go to the marketplace. So
Yes.
Mataji, I feel that if he's doing that and we pray to God Nitai, would this happen to us in this lifetime? That love of Godhead.
I'm so glad. Timing, I don't know, Mataji. He is the supremely independent person. We cannot say, oh, I chanted my rounds so nicely, so sincerely. Now, Krishna, you're bound to take me. He chooses. He chooses. And he has promised everybody that anybody who comes to his loka will not come again. Means there will not be any fall down after that. And he knows what will happen in future. So he knows how we can react because free will is never taken from a jiva at any point of time, whether we are in Goloka or whether we are here in the material world. So there also we have free will. Goloka also we have free will, but we should not misuse our free will. And Krishna knows whether we have that potential of misusing it or not. So only when he is 100% sure and he knows, he can see future. So when he knows this jiva is not going to misuse the free will again, then our time has come. But our desire has to be there. Like recently, my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Bhakti Raghav Maharaj, he had his Vyas Puja, and I was to write the glorification. And I was thinking, what do I do? He is just an ocean of mercy. And your question connects me to that. So I just mentioned how merciful Krishna is, how causelessly merciful he is. And then more than him, it's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But more than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Nityananda Prabhu. Like Nityananda Prabhu, when he summoned his Sudarshana Chakra for Jagai and Madhai, that time Nityananda Prabhu forgets everything at home. They have insulted, what all kinds of sin they have done. He just forgets and he says, please don't take that Sudarshan Chakra. You are the most munificent one. In this form, you should not. Please don't do it. And he makes him not just forgive them, but to bestow Krishna Prema also on them. So merciful is Nityananda Mahaprabhu. And so much more merciful is the Guru and the Vaishnavas. So we have to just hold the feet of the person who is the most merciful around us. That is the only thing which is going to help us through. We cannot reach him directly. But when we have so many recommendation letters, this person also writes, please accept this jiva, please accept this jiva, then it will help us. From our own side, he is having so many people to serve him. Lakshmis are standing, in queue, please. Sahasra Lakshmi are standing. But then what will be there to attract his attention towards us? When there are several recommendation letters, he will definitely look. So if we catch hold of them and serve Vaishnavas very nicely, it will definitely attract his attention because Vaishnavas are very dear to him. So we have to do what he likes.
Yeah.
So he
Very
likes his devotees. I'm sure it will help. He loves cows. Because in Goloka, although so many Lakshmis are there, what is he doing? Surbhira Vipalayanta. So if somehow we are able to please Gomata, we are able to serve the Vaishnavas in some way, try to follow the teachings of Bhagavad Gita in our life. Guru, actually in Garur Puran, they give like what are the entities who will help us in not coming here again. So there he says, Krishna, Garur Puran is spoken by Krishna himself before he accepted Garuda as his carrier. I love to read Garur Puran also. So there I had read. So there he mentions, if we are able to serve Guru, we are able to serve Gomata, we are able to serve a Brahman, we are able to serve Bhagavad Gita. Serve means implementing those instructions, whatever is there in that. And of course, Lord Hari, they are all capable of delivering a person. So if we try to keep all of them around us and somehow we are able to serve, I'm sure one day, he will definitely bestow his love is already there. His mercy also will be there on us. And for a devotee, what difference does it make whether we are in the material world or there? We have to do bhajan kriya only, isn't it? Sukhe dukhe bhule na koi, vadane hari naam karo re. चाहे जंगल में रहो या घर में रहो, गृहे थाको वने थाको, सदा हरि बोले डाको. So if we have to love him, we can love him anywhere. Bilva Mangal Thakur, he had captured Krishna in his heart. So there those things are going on, those loving dealings are going on. So it's not that love fructifies only there. It can be anywhere. Like in Bhagavad Gita, right in the introduction itself, he says, what is the definition of mukti? He says, muktir hitva anatha rupam swarupena vyavasthitihi. Means mukti is, we don't have to leave our body for that. We can realize it even in this body itself. In this material body also, we can realize it the moment we come to the point of realizing our asli swarupa. And we give up all other swarupas. We accept that original swarupa that I'm connected to him. I'm his eternal servant. I want to love him. Please teach me, Krishna, how to love also. He will teach us the art of loving.
Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare
Hare Krishna. So let us, I think there are no questions. So let us thank Mataji and for